The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by the Elite Experience, Elite Shotguns, and is fueled by Fiocchi.
Paul?
Welcome to the Dead Pair Podcast, coming in hot with everything you want to hear about sporting clays.
Guy Fieri.
How are you, gentlemen? Thanks for having me.
Anthony Matarese Jr., how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well.
Welcome back, David Radulovich.
That's a net positive 30 minutes. Brad Kidd.
Corey Cruz, thank you for joining us this evening.
Now I feel awkward.
With your hosts, Jason Rambo
One more Red Bull for you.
and Sean Alley.
Woo, yeah!
Christmas.
Do it!
Often imitated but never duplicated. It's the Dead Pair Podcast. And now, it's showtime.
What's up, Large and in charge?
Jason Rambo, how the hell you been, buddy?
Oh, doing good. Getting ready to start shooting. Blackjack Open, and then RC Cup. Then we've got the Caribbean Cup, and the Jack Links, and the Florida Challenge. 5 straight weeks of shooting.
Wow, you're going to be wore out by the time that's all over and done with.
Yes, I am. But that's all right, because it's going to be a pause button until the World Sporting in Anthony's, and which, by the way, we're talking to Mr. Pete Melloy tonight. It's going to be hosting the World FITASC. But, Sean, in between now and then, we got some sponsors that really help us out. Thank you very much, Elite Shotguns. Appreciate everything you guys do. Fiocchi Ammunition. Love us some Fiocchi, Sean Alley.
That's right. RE Ranger. We got to love those React lenses. And again, we're still waiting on word for the prescription glasses from RE Ranger. Also, American-built Atlas traps. If you need a trap, they are a fantastic company to work with. And none other than your own Jason Rambo would be happy to help you out if you need to buy some equipment from him.
Absolutely. Don't forget about the girls over at OtoPro for all your hearing protection needs. Of course, we love and use Dawn Grant. We use her system in her complete courses. Sean, you seen any value in that yet?
Absolutely. I mean, there's all kinds of help, and I would say that anybody else out there struggling with their game or feel like they're missing a piece, that's what you need to do. So
yeah, for sure. Of course, Sean, I mean, our Rhino chokes are. I'm loving mine, dude. I've played around with this, that, and the other with all the Rhinos. I just keep going back to those 17s. I absolutely love them. They are just perfect.
Same for me, and a lot of times I'll bump between the 12s and the 17s. Every once in a while I'll throw that 7 in there. I mean, they all work fantastic as long as you know what you're shooting. Also, big thank you to Vero Beach Sporting Clays. We appreciate Brian Palmer and his whole crew down there for running the Dead Pair Blast. We look forward to coming coming up again the end of this year. And also Score Chaser, Casey Chase, the gals over there. Could never get to a shoot without him, right, Jay?
That's absolutely right. Speaking of Score Chaser, Sean Alley, we have a tourney talk.
It's Tourney Talk. Brought to you by Score Chaser.
All right, guys, this one's been out for a minute. We missed it, but we're going to update it now. Kansas State FITASC 5-stand and Super Sporting Championship will be held at Powder Creek Shooting Park August 8th through the 11th. Registration's open. Hurry up and get in there and get your spot reserved. Absolutely.
From what I understand, that was a pretty good one last year, so anybody in that area that's looking to go shoot a really good shoot, check that one out. Sean, hey, listen, by the time we air this, within 48 hours, we will be drawing the winning ticket for the golf cart, the Dead Pair giveaway golf cart at Vero Beach. Don't need to be present to win, but you still have some time. If you're just hearing this, you got about 48 hours to get your tickets. Head over to deadpair.givesmart.com. That's deadpair.givesmart.com. Tickets are $20 each or $6 for $100. Sean, somebody's going to win this thing. You know what? I'm buying tickets. Even if I do win it, I'm just going to donate it back. But it's because of the cause, I mean, it's for Kids and Clays, which benefits Ronald McDonald's House Charities, which is near and dear to Sean and I. We've preached it and we've said it a million times, and we think it's for a really good cause.
Absolutely.
Sean, I know that you're hem-hawing and thinking about both the World Sporting in Anthony's and the World FITASC. What do you think, man? You think you're going to be able to pull one of these off, or you're going to try or last minute or don't know or what?
I'm 99.9% sure I cannot make the Worlds at Anthony's just because that time of year is the busiest time for my business. So unfortunately, I got to pass on that one. World FITASC, I don't know. Let's see how the world or the how life treats me from between here and there. Just can't commit at the moment though.
Right. No, I understand. It's tough. I mean, I've had to cut back on some of my travel plans for this year. Like I said, I'm doing all 5 of the Florida Swing and then a little bit of a break until Anthony's. And then, of course, we got the U.S. Open at Northbrook. And then the following weekend is the big one at the Cardinal Center, the Ohio State shoot. Big purse, big plans this year. We're upping everything. Sean and I are both on the board. Lots of big plans. We're really striving to have a good event for everyone. So if you can, check that out. It's the week after the U.S. Open in August. So that's going to be a good shoot. But Sean, we've talked about that. Of course, we had the Path series on planning shoots and traveling and everything, and the expense that comes with it. And it's a lot. It can be a little bit overwhelming. I mean, you and I try a little bit harder because of this podcast. We want to get out and meet people and talk to people. And, but it's for the average person that shoots on the weekends, it's very tough to do some of these traveling.
It is, but we've said it time and time again, you kind of have to plan this as a vacation if you're going to go to one of these big shoots. Whether or not you take the family along, that's up to you. But treat it as a vacation, take some time off work so that way you're relaxed and you can go out there and actually enjoy yourself. If you're going to spend the money and take the time to do it, that's the best way to go.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of travel, let's get Mr. Pete Melloy on from Game Unlimited. I want to hear all about this World Championship and hopefully he can give some information to anybody that's thinking about going. I know it's a little tricky for the sign-up process, and maybe he can help us with some of that. But, Sean, what do you say we get Pete on the phone?
Let's make it happen.
The Dead Pair.
All right, on the phone with us, Mr. Pete Melloy from Game Unlimited. How you doing, Pete?
I'm doing pretty well. How you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic, Pete. Thanks so much for taking some time and sitting down to talk with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. We're real excited about World FITASC coming up this summer.
Absolutely. Well, Pete, let's start off on some easy stuff. For our listeners that may not know who you are, can you give us a little bit of background about yourself, how you got started into sporting clays? Just give us some history there if you don't mind.
Yeah. So I was born into the business. My dad had started things out here. We were a hunting club, so pheasants, chucker, upland game, quail, and we also did ducks a long time ago as well for pass shooting. So I was kind of cutting my teeth as a kid, doing the basic chores and daily business with the hunting club. And then in the 90s, when I was in, I think 1991, I was in 7th grade, and my dad started sporting clays out here. The Horse and Hunt Club had just kind of got that going. I think they were one of the first clubs in the country to get sporting clays going with Range Valia over there. And that was 1988. And they're about 45 minutes from us. So some club members had come out and told my dad, hey, they got sporting clays. And he didn't know anything about it. So I was the number one go-to guy trapping all day long. I used to have dreams of people calling pull.
Yeah.
So I real quickly realized that I needed to get pretty good at sports, so I didn't have to do that all day long. So I played a lot of sports growing up. But the sporting clays game kind of started in 1990. I never really shot much or was too involved. I was busy with sports, playing in high school. I played football, basketball, baseball, and then soccer a little bit later on. Commuted to St. Paul Academy, the high school I went to. It's a private school about 35 miles from the house here out at the farm. And carpool there and kind of got into sports there. And after college, you kind of get into play soccer in college, and then you kind of get to a point in your life. I had kids young, so my son now, Tyler's 23, my daughter's 22, and my youngest son, Jackson's 17. They all work for me right now as well. So it's kind of a family affair. It's been like that for a long time. So
very, very cool.
So that was pretty. That was kind of how the sporting clay started, and it's funny enough. I'll give you a quick little story of how I realized this was kind of a big deal. Because back in the day, in the 90s, I mean, most of the people that came out were just shooting some clays and drinking beer when they're done, right? I didn't see the competitive side of it. It kind of felt like frisbee golf with a shotgun, And I'm just pulling. I see how serious the guys are, and if I could throw those true pairs real tight, I realized I'd get more tips from the guys. So they were getting pretty competitive. And then I went to the Minnesota Horse and Hunt in 2002, and they had the U.S. Open. So some guy that was a member said, "Hey, they got this U.S. Open. They should come check it out." So I went over there, and I couldn't believe it. They had automatic traps. I go, they got automatic traps for this stuff. And there's 1,000 people there. I think it was the biggest U.S. Open to that point for sure. And it was just a real eye opener how big a game it was. So that was really neat and interesting. So I was just walking around the course. I think I was probably about 25 at that time, maybe 24. Walking around the course, and I saw these two young kids, and they were just lighting up, just hitting everything. I was following around, talking to them. Pretty nice kids. They're just tearing the course up. This guy comes up to me, and he goes, "Hey, do you mind not talking to them anymore? They're competing." I didn't know it was that serious. So I go, "Okay." So I backed off, and comes out down the road. I found out that was Anthony Matteries and Corey Cruz shooting. And Dan Carlisle was the guy that came up to me and said, "Hey, give them a little break to compete." And I go, "Oh man." So that was my introduction to the game. And I came back and told my dad, I said, "Hey, this is pretty cool. I think there's something here at this tournament stuff. Let's get some traps." So we got some traps back then from Lincoln and Rod at shoutouts. And got some traps, and we realized that, Johnny doesn't call in sick because he wants to go to the lake with his girlfriend. And all of a sudden, I'm stuck pulling all the time. We're trying to find other people to pull. So we got the automatic traps, and that's kind of where it started. And that's about 20 years ago for me. I'm kind of getting in the game and learning how to do it. I go to shoots and tournaments just to kind of get a feel of what it was all about and what the shooter's expectations were, and how to throw targets and how to set targets and, to shoot some tournaments. And I was competitive growing up. So anyone that's competitive naturally enjoys the game. So just kind of started shooting and enjoying the game. And through the years, just kind of picked up on how to throw events, and started the first tournament in 2004. And I took operations over in 2018, and we kind of started taking off and did our first regional in 2021.
Wow. Well, Pete,
Very cool.
for those that haven't been to Game Unlimited, tell us about the facility. Like, how big is it? How many courses do you have? What all do you have to offer there?
Yeah, so we have 800 acres out here. Pretty nice rolling terrain. Really, really nice for, target setter's dream as far as that goes, because you got a lot of stuff we can throw below your feet, a combination of woods, open fields. And so you kind of have the full variety that everyone's looking for. And the amenities, we're just close to town. We got about 20,000 people in Hudson. Great restaurants. It's a tourist kind of town right off the St. Croix River, which is one of the 7 scenic riverways in the United States. So it's just a really cool area. And we're close to the Twin Cities, which has a major airport hub, about 45 minutes away for international travel, direct flights everywhere. So that's really nice. With the club itself, we do 4 sporting clays courses with 50 targets, typically going all the time. In the wintertime, we slow down up north. For those of you guys that are down south, I don't think they know what indoor heated 5-stand is.
No.
No, but when it's minus 20, we tend to just shoot inside, turn the radiant heat tube on, throw the lights on, and shoot right out the windows of the clubhouse. So that's pretty neat. We have about 500 shooters in our summer league and 250-ish in the winter league, but because you can only fit so many people through 5 windows. But that's kind of the FITASC. We do a lot of that. I'm a big FITASC enthusiast. It's my favorite game of all the disciplines, just because of the variety. Maybe I have a little bit of ADD maybe, so I don't like shooting the same targets over and over. So the A, B, C, D give you a nice little variety there. We've got some practice parkours we always have set up, and have 120 traps on grounds.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, let's dive into talking about the Worlds here. So obviously, this is a huge event, and specifically for FITASC. Who do you got setting targets for this? Is there more than one person involved?
Yeah, I kind of just put a team together of a lot of guys that I've known over the years. Everyone has a lot of experience. Jamie Peckham came over in October. I worked with him a bit at Caribou when Caribou had the World FITASC in 2015. I set some side events on that, like Super Sporting, and Jamie was working on the main event with some of the other guys. Steve Knowles on that course as well. I got Steve Knoll helping out. He's a Wisconsin guy and a Hall of Famer. Been around the game a long time. Gary Fitzgerald's a buddy of mine, so I got Gary coming up, running the club. I always look for guys that have experience in the field, not with target setting, but just, how to run logistics and the operation if something happens. You got a guy with experience that knows how to take care of something real quick, put fires out. So Gary's helping out. My son Tyler's getting pretty experienced now. My right-hand guy, Nate Wanabo, he's a top shooter as well. He's 27, but he's been in the game his whole life as well. So he'll be working on setting targets. Myself, I talked with John Kruger. I've known John for a long time. I know he was going to help out a bit. So we're just going to have a big conglomerate of guys working on things. And Jamie and I kind of put the main event together as far as where we're going to have the parkours and the layouts and all the side events.
Gotcha. Well, what about, let me just ask you this real quick question. I'll let Jason take off. With this being a world event, you've got shooters coming in from all over the place. Do you guys have to approach this a little bit differently as far as your choice of targets versus if this was a strictly, United States FITASC tournament?
Well, I've shot two domestically. I shot the world at Horse and Hunt in 2006. Look at those numbers. They had just under 600 shooters for that event. And then we had Caribou had just over 600 shooters at theirs. And we've already have about almost 1,100 shooters signed up right now. So it's a pretty big turnout. And it's about a 60-40 split with people from the States and people abroad. So it's going to be a lot of people from around the world. And I went to Hungary this last year just to kind of get a flavor of what the European game's like. And they had some big boy targets over there, I'll tell you that. And coming over here for our event, my thought process is we're gonna throw it along the lines of what we like to do over here and what we think are good targets. But the Paris has a vetting team, so they go through with the FITASC Federation. So they'll kind of look and make sure they're up to standards for what their expectations are as well. But I think we got a pretty good handle on it as far as target colors and backgrounds and that kind of stuff. It's just going to be a great mix, and that's a beautiful thing about a new style FITASC. You have four pegs on each parkour, so they're basically like four different, completely different layouts, and 15 traps on each parkour versus 5 on an old style. You're going to get a ton of variety. Some obviously are going to be a little more challenging than others, but you're going to shoot a lot of singles. So you're going to shoot 120 singles. And so you can throw a little bit more challenging targets at time, and you might not throw it in your pair. So you're going to shoot 4 singles in one pair and move on to your next peg.
That's awesome. Well, it sounds like you've definitely done your homework. I mean, going over to Hungary and checking out, like you said, the European flair, if you will. Very impressive, especially after you said that you're friends with Gary Fitzgerald. No, just kidding. Gary, we love you, buddy. I'm just joking. So, but no,
we all love Gary.
He's a wild card. Let me tell you. So is there still room left? This is kind of a 2-part question. Is there still room left if people want to sign up? First of all,
there's still room left. There's just not a lot of room. I mean, 1,200 is the max for the event, just for with how many people we can run through it. And we're almost at 1,100. So I'd recommend that if anybody, wants to shoot the event or is thinking about it, they should sign up for it. I'm sure there'll be some cancellations where people can get in last minute as well. But you're not going to want to wait around too long.
Well, now here's the other part of that is the registration itself. I know the side games are done through Score Chaser, but for the people that want to compete in the World FITASC main event, you might want to. Well, I'll tell you what, Pete. Why don't you just walk us through that, because that can be a little tricky if you're not signed up with the World FITASC Federation or whatever. It can be very tricky to get through that website. You want to kind of help the new guy get through that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy process. I know I did it last year for when I went to Hungary. You just have to get on the FITASC website and kind of go through the instructions there. And if anyone has any issues, I've had a lot of people calling me up and I've kind of walked them through it, or I've had someone else walk them through it, because it's kind of one of those. It's just different than what you're used to, right? I mean, just from WinScore back in the day, and getting used to Score Chaser. We have Score Chasers for all the side events. Everyone's kind of got accustomed to that, but it's not that often that you shoot a World FITASC event, so it's just kind of a new process. And once you get on there, you can kind of work your way through it. And if anyone has any questions, my number's on there. You can call me directly, and I'm more than happy to help people go through it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's, like, just as an example, so everybody understands, you have to have a shooter's card that is registered with the World FITASC. I mean, first and foremost, before you can even start to register. It's not just going in, hey, I want to shoot this, and here's my number. Nah, it's not that easy.
Right, and then when you do sign up, I mean, you sign up for an AM or PM, so a lot of people don't really understand how that works either. So if you sign up for the AM time slot, that means when the main event starts on Thursday, you're going to be shooting in the AM, and then it's going to alternate on Friday. You're going to shoot in the PM, and then Saturday you're going to shoot in the AM, and Sunday you're going to shoot in the PM, and vice versa if you sign up for PM. So when you sign up for side events, if you're at AM on Thursday, you want to sign up for side events on the PM.
Right. And
the Score Chaser team is going to be there to make any adjustments if necessary, because you may have a situation where you're not going to get your exact shooting times until Wednesday night at the opening ceremonies. Right. That's kind of how they have it set up, so everybody attends. It's kind of a big deal in Europe. It was really neat last year at their opening ceremonies, and we have a really cool venue set up downtown Hudson, right on the river. So it's a really cool spot, and lots happening down there. And that's going to be pretty neat. And then right after the opening ceremonies, we have 2 river boats that can seat 500 people for a cocktail hour after. If anyone wants to do that, it's right next to the opening ceremonies.
Oh, cool.
Beautiful venue. So you can sign up for that under amenities on Score Chaser if you're interested in doing the river cruise, which I would recommend for anybody that wants to bring their family with or something like that.
Hey, Pete, do you know, I mean, is everybody going to start at the first peg and go on? Are they doing anything like that? Or are you doing anything like that, I should say?
FITASC handles all of that. Paris does. I'm not exactly positive how they have their line set up, but they have all their line set up so they can get the maximum amount of shooters through at the 1,200. So you're just kind of filtering on all day long. So you're going to shoot 2 parkours. This is how it was for last year when I did it. I'm assuming it's the same. You're going to shoot like 1 and 2, and then you can get shoveled out or take a golf cart. And I highly recommend getting a golf cart because we're really spread out. I mean, to the farthest parkour from the clubhouse is 2 miles away.
Oh my
gosh! So you're looking at, yeah. So we do have shuttle service for the main event. I'm not going to have shuttle service for the side games. So I would recommend getting a golf cart or a lot of people have their own carts. They carry, they haul with them. But for the people that are flying in, definitely recommend it. Get a golf cart and Score Chaser. But so basically what you'll do is you're going to shoot like parkour 1 and 2 on one day, and then you're going to shoot parkour 3 and 4 the next day. And each parkour is kind of staged so they're in pairs, so you can get to one spot and easily walk around once you get shuttled there. So that's not a problem at all.
Gotcha. Well, Pete, I want to circle back. I know you kind of rattled off some quick answers on the amenities and what's local there around your area. Did you mention the airport or the airports that are closest to fly into?
Yeah, Minneapolis, St. Paul. That's
Minneapolis,
St. Paul airport. Yeah.
Okay.
Right next to the Mall of America for any of the ladies coming that like to shop. Obviously the largest mall in America.
Gotcha, no problem. And then what about camping? Do you guys have anything there on the grounds, or is there local camping for people that are coming in with like RVs and stuff?
So we have dry camping available for as many unlimited acreage for that. So we have that all set up for dry camping if people want hookups, so they want something specific. Only a few miles away is a Willow River State Park. They're 3 miles away.
Okay.
Great spot. They have all the amenities and the hookups for their big RVs and campers. And there's also Apple River has some tubing areas, and that's about 7 miles away, and there's a lot of camping opportunities over there too.
Okay, very cool, very cool. And then any hotels running any specials because of this event, or any particular ones that the people should reach out to just in case?
Yeah, we have a site set up for this, and yeah, it's www.2024worldfitasc.com. And I have Julia with HOA Sports has been working with us, and she's set up things with the vendors and sponsors, as well as a website. So for any changes or any live updates or whatnot, people can just kind of check that website out and get a little bit more of a better feel for things.
Gotcha. And then actually, you said part of my next question. Vendors, any vendors you want to mention or throw a shout out to that are going to be there?
Yeah, there's this kind of the normal industry people. We got great support, from everybody for the shoot. We're really excited about that. But locally, Federal Remington, they've always been a big part of every event that we've done here. So they're going to be a big part of the event. Chromatic, you can't do a major event these days without that crew, and their team is just phenomenal. And I've worked with those guys several times now with the regional and state shoots, and so they're going to be here bringing traps for the main. Polaris is a sponsor, Gamebore, Krieghoff, Fiocchi, Beretta, Winchester. Vendors as far as in the Vortex, B&P and Briley are also sponsors on the courses. And then vendors is Winchester, Beretta, Fiocchi, Krieghoff, Gamebore, Chromatic, Carlson, Sporting Arms, Shells R Us, Bear Pelt, Wisconsin, USA Shooting Accessories, Briley, Electronic Hearing Protection, Woolley Shooting, and Federal Remington.
Fantastic.
That's awesome. Well, Pete, we'll make sure and put the link to that website right down in the show description. If anybody's looking for that, they can find it there easy enough. Pete, give us your take on the world of sporting or FITASC, both. Let's just put it as sporting targets in the world right now. There's been a lot of talk about it's getting more expensive to travel. It's really going to start deterring things, but we still see the bigger tournaments, the numbers are increasing. What are you seeing there at Game Unlimited? What's your temperature on the economy of shooting right now?
Well, I've seen all the shoots, all the big shoots are going up in numbers every year. I mean, that's just been a constant. Ever since COVID, especially, it seems like people kind of got into the game and they find a hobby. And it's a recreational game. People are spending their recreational money, so there's only so much they can do. But it's just such an addicting sport that you have all the kids getting involved now, and their parents are getting involved, and it's just the competition has grown quite a bit. I mean, I know the Leinekugels 200 that we started doing in, I think, 2015. The first year we had that 55 shooters, and every year it went up, and now we're over 300 shooters just for a regular fun shoot, which is it's a great event. But those types of things are growing, and it just kind of comes down to the clubs outside of a major of throwing an event that the shooters say, hey, this is a great shoot. Like our Leinekugels, we have a fish fry that's Shells R Us does Saturday evening. Our make or break shootout. We have a live band there. Everybody hangs around, and that's one thing you'll see in the Midwest, especially Wisconsin, the Wisconsin area. We have a real strong group of competitors that like to hang out and have a good time. It's like when you go to other clubs or other states, like I've been to. You see everyone shooting and get out. You come to Wisconsin, and it's a party. Yeah. Everyone's hanging out. If you have 400 people at the state shoot, there's 450 people to 500 people hanging out, after the shoot's done on Saturday night. So, between I guess we're a beer drinking state up here. I don't know what to tell you. If you like beer, cheese, and glaze, come on.
Well, it's funny because I was talking to Radulovich here a while back, and one of the biggest complaints that Sean and I had, well, first of all, back in the day, like in the 90s when Sean and I were shooting, it was an all-day affair. I mean, you just didn't shoot and throw your gun in the truck and go home. I mean, you hung out. I mean, everybody had dinner, had drinks, whatever. We kind of seemed to get away from that for quite a while, as little as 5-6 years ago. But now it seems like people are starting to hang out more. People are starting to enjoy the experience more. The dinners are getting more elaborate. The giveaways are increasing also. But it just seems like that's starting to come back a little bit. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to the clubs, and I always feel that the club owners or the managers or whoever's involved has a real passion for the game and to put on the best shows. And that's no different than up here a lot of places I've been to. You're trying to have value for your customers and have an experience for them. So it's not just a competition. It's just the body of work that you put on. So that's what we do up here. We're real family orientated. Everyone comes out hangs out. It's a big party. It's a lot of fun. And it's just, it's infectious. When you see, if there's nobody hanging out, people are just going to go, they're just going to go back to their hotel,
Right.
go to dinner with a few of their friends that they know, or some of the, shooter friends that travel to all the big tournaments. But then when they come to places like ours, they go, oh man, everyone's hanging out. Well, let's hang out too. And,
Yeah.
and sometimes they hang out a little too late, and have a little too much fun. And they go, man, this was one of the greatest shoots I've ever been to. I might have shot like crap, but so that's kind of that's what my focus is. And I think a lot of the clubs that focus on having a good time, the shooters really enjoy it. And, the weather is obviously always a factor. It's always more fun when it's nice out. But beyond that, I think that's kind of the goal that most clubs should shoot for right now, is just making sure you have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted.
Sean, how many times have we heard Jake Spangler over at the Cardinal Center say that, we're in the entertainment business, and it always seems like whenever they throw a shoot, everybody hangs out. They've got good food and everybody's, hanging out and hooping and hollering afterwards. So it sounds, Pete, to me like that's what you've created there.
Yeah, that's what I've always, and there's a strategy to it sometimes. I mean, like, for example, like our lineys, I typically, you gotta gear it towards the crowd that you have coming to. So that's more of a local Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, kind of Illinois, our region for a shoot like that. And I have Saturday nice and, nothing too tough and fun course, and everyone has a good time. And then I crank it up on Championship Sunday. I always call it Championship Sunday and throw more of like a regional course, right? Or something that's a lot tougher. That way everyone's kind of, I don't have to hear them complain on their way out the door. And then they come back next year. So there's a little bit, everyone feels pretty good Saturday. They want to hang out and talk about it, and then on Sunday you separate the top end guys. So give them a chance to kind of compete and duke it out.
Well, Pete, I'll be honest. I don't know about Jason, but you had me at fish fry. When I heard that, I'm like, man, I got to go to Wisconsin now, because I don't think. I mean, it's like I've never been to a shoot where they've had some fried walleye or perch or something like that on the menu. That would be awesome.
Yeah, no. So we pride ourselves on having some good food and have a good atmosphere. But then again, there's some new ideas and try to have some forward thinking on things and all. I know with this year's event, I'm going to do a couple things a little bit different than done in the past. We're going to have, super sporting side events running Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on 3 different courses, 66, 66, 68, kind of U.S. Open style, and just kind of get people warmed up for the FITASC event. And anyone that shoots all 3 courses, told them 200 targets, is in for $20,000 added money.
Wow.
Or you can just shoot a 66 target event if you one day if you want. Or if you're coming on Wednesday, you can just sign up for all 3 and shoot all 200 in one day, but they'll all be punched separately and then used as a combined score for the added money.
That is very cool.
Then we're going to do that on Thursday, Friday, Saturday in a sporting format. So that same thing.
Excellent.
And then on the FITASC, I know this will get some people, they can start preparing right now. I'll give them the preview. Is you have 15 seconds in FITASC, and it's really difficult for referees to pay attention to how much time and watch the line and all that. So I'm gonna try to simplify it, and just kind of like the NBA, I'm gonna put a shot clock in front of every hoop, and when that barrel cracks open, the referee can hit the button and it counts down. So there's no discrepancy on time. It's right there. It's kind of like the police officers right there enforcing the rule, and I think it's going to move the shoot along a little bit quicker too.
That's very cool. That's a great idea.
Heck yeah.
So anyone that takes a little bit more time or is pressing the limit, it'll be right there for everybody to see, and they just got to get their shot off as the rules are. So that's something a little bit different that I want to try too, and see if we can keep the flow of the game moving pretty quick, and keep everybody on time as far as side events and different things. But the main event obviously is where all the focus is going to be. And then the side events is, we put a lot of pride in targets and everything else as well. But, you're going to have 1,100 shooters shooting the main event, and most likely 1,200 shooters. So we want that thing to move along.
Yeah. Well, new style FITASC is definitely going to help that too, so, but that's awesome. I mean, it sounds to me like you've got things ironed out, and this sounds to me like it's going to be a great event.
Yeah, no, we're really looking forward just to having everybody back. We did that regional in 21, and it was great just to have so much positive feedback from all the, the top shooters that you hear about. Zach Kienbaum had a lot of great comments on social media. Braxton Oliver, said we're one of the top clubs in the country after this, and nobody really even knew who we were right at that point. And David Radulovich was up here shooting that one, and I think he was finishing in the top 3. Joe Finizzi won that one that year we had it. So that was our showcase, really, to get everybody up here. And the feedback at every shoot I've been to since then, a lot of the traveling shooters have been real excited about coming back and said it was a great event. So that makes you, as a club owner, feel really good that you put in the effort and it worked out really well. So now it's the chance to kind of show on a global stage.
Gotcha.
Very cool.
Well, Pete, have we missed anything? Have we left anything out or anything that you want to mention before we wrap this up?
I think we got a pretty good coverage on everything. Opening ceremonies, we're looking forward to that as well. It's kind of a big party event. So we really recommend everybody gets down to that and does a river cruise for hour and a half after that for a little cocktail hour down the river. Just the community as a whole, the Hudson area, Stillwater, that's in Minnesota. So it's a great river valley area for a lot of fun stuff to do after the shoot. So I think everyone's going to love the area. And, we got great support from all our sponsors and people that are going to be vending and the shooters have been extremely supportive because registration opened up in November and we're approaching 1,100 shooters. So right now we're just preparing and putting logistics together, everything. And, your referees and your trappers and all that kind of stuff is always a big commitment for people. So that we're excited about having you guys up here and throwing a great event.
I'd look forward to it. Very cool. Yeah. Well, Pete, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you spending a few minutes with us here this evening. And like I said, we're going to put that link down in the show description. If there's anything else you think we need to add in there, let me know. I'll make sure and get it in there for everybody. But sounds like you only got
I just thought about, boys.
What's that?
I just thought about, because I'm going to do another thing that's kind of different. And tell me what you guys think about it. It's an idea. I ran it by Promatic, and they were on board, and they've been super supportive over the years. I was thinking about leaving the main event up on Monday, and for coaches from, I know Ben Husway was talking about doing some coaching and some other coaches, leaving the main event up. You pay a $300 flat rate and just shoot as much as you want to shoot all day long.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
wow. On all the main event targets. So if you traveled up here and you shot the 200 target event, how many times you shoot an event, you go, man, I could not hit that, that 60-yard bat too, or whatever it may be, or that 45-yard bird right there. It does not look that difficult, but I just never touched it, Just give guys a chance to go out there and just bang all day long. If they want to shoot 10 cases of shells, they can shoot 10 cases of shells. If they just birds, they can work on a few birds. So what do you guys think about that?
Wow, what an opportunity.
I like it.
I mean, seriously.
Right.
I've never even heard anything like that. That's awesome, Pete. I think that's a fantastic idea. That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm planning on running with that. It was just kind of something I was kicking around, and I wanted to make sure Promatic was okay with it. And I had a couple of guys, bring it up to me, and I go, I think that's a pretty good idea, actually. Well, why nothing ventured, nothing gained. Let's give it a whirl and see if there's any legs to it.
There you go. Good idea.
Well, Sean sounds like you need to pack an extra $300 and spend an extra day.
Yep, just like everything else, man. The bucket list keeps growing and growing, doesn't it?
Well, thanks a lot, boys, for the opportunity. I appreciate you reaching out, and look forward to seeing you guys down in Florida here in the next few weeks.
Oh, you coming
Pete,
down?
It was our pleasure.
I'll be down there for the Caribbean and the Jack Links.
Yep, I'll be there for that.
Sounds to me like you need to venture over to the Dead Pear patio at Vero and maybe have an adult beverage with us. So.
Well, absolutely. I would love that.
Awesome.
Well, Pete, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on here, buddy. I mean, again, really great talking to you. Me and Jason haven't really spent too much time with you, but definitely looking forward to seeing you again.
Yeah, it sounds great, guys. Look forward to seeing you. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Well, Sean Alley, I guarantee you're itching at the bit to get up there now.
Well, that was a lot of great information. Big thanks to Pete for laying the smackdown on that. I mean, that is a lot of stuff happening up there.
Yeah, but it sounds like an exciting event, and it is the World FITASC. I mean, Sean, I know you were thinking about going. I bet you're thinking harder now, aren't you?
I'm definitely thinking a lot harder now, especially with all the stuff going on. I mean, that was impressive, man. They're going to have a lot of stuff there, a lot of vendors there, not to mention, people coming in from all over the world.
Well, $300 for unlimited targets on Monday to work on something. That's an opportunity right there.
That's a deal. That is a deal.
Well, hey, everybody, we've talked about it over and over and over again about planning shoots. Go back and listen to our Path series that we did. This is a big one. This is the World FITASC. Anthony's having the World Sporting. Pete Melloy is at Game Unlimited is having the World FITASC. This is 2 World Championship events in our country this year. And these are big ones. Now, don't think you have to be, at the very top of the game to go and compete there and have fun and enjoy yourself. I mean, how cool is it? You get to go shoot in the World Championship. It doesn't matter if you're a D-level shooter or above. It's an opportunity, right, Sean?
Yeah, and absolutely. We made the mistake early on when we started shooting registered targets that there were some tournaments we felt like, oh, we're not good enough for that, or oh, we just wouldn't, do well at that event. And it has nothing to do with that. You just show up. It's the experience. You have a good time. You're going to shoot as good as you possibly can, and you just have to be okay with that.
Right. Exactly. And another thing too, there's been a lot of recent rule changes with the NSCA as far as, being downclassed and how you get classed up and whatnot. Heard some rumors that they may be doing away with the E-class again. There's all kinds of things going on. So make sure you're paying attention. If you are competing in this game, follow the rule updates with the NSCA, pay attention to your emails. Don't just send them to your spam folder. And please, for the love of God, don't think that Sean and I are some kind of experts at the NSCA, because we're not. You got to do your due diligence if you're going to go and compete.
Yeah, I think I saw it posted, Jason, that they were going to do the 2023 season wrapped up by the end of January. So by the time this podcast releases, I would say they should have everything updated. But there's going to be some surprises, I think, for some people, because they really stiffened up the criteria. I actually went and looked at that. Definitely going to force a lot of masterclass shooters out of masterclass. I think you have to have 15 punches now, and then you got to be able to maintain above a 0.4 average. I actually think I printed it off here.
Well, you don't now listen. You don't have to take the down class.
I know you don't have to take it, but I'm just saying that I think the most logical thing for people wanting to stay in is obviously like somebody like myself, who I started off last year in AA, and then I punched back up into August. Now, they probably won't drop me back down to AA because there's no way I got 15 punches between August and the end of last year. However, the guys that are just kind of hanging on around there, this kind of ups the bar a little bit. So everybody out there, just kind of pay attention. The rules should be out on the NSCA page pretty soon if they're not already. And just kind of be aware that, you don't want to go to your first shoot thinking you're in A class and all of a sudden now you're in B class or something like that.
Well, it's like I said, do your due diligence. It's your responsibility to keep track of where you're at. So,
absolutely.
But, Sean, we tell everybody every week, take someone who's shooting, take them to a tournament. We've got the Dead Pair Challenge for everybody. One new shooter a month. Take them out, take them shooting. Sean, I've challenged you straight up, called you out on this podcast. Where are you at, my friend? Have you taken him out yet? I know you had somebody in mind.
Yep, we actually had plans for the end of January, so by the time this comes out, hopefully with the weather starting to break, I'll have had them out, and I'll be having my first check mark off my list.
Okay, well, everybody look for pictures and updates on social media, and if you don't see it, make sure you harass Sean Alley. Where's it at, Sean? We want the proof. Well,
and let's not forget, there's 2 parts of this partnership, buddy, so let's see what you've been doing, too.
I know.
Make sure you're getting out there.
Don't you worry. Okay. That's coming. It's coming.
All righty.
Sean Alley, what do we tell everybody every week?
Well, obviously, we tell everybody to get out there, enjoy the sport. Take somebody with you, especially. Make them see what kind of fun this is. Make them experience the joy and pleasure of breaking a clay. And hopefully maybe even take some of your buddies that you guys do that already and step it up a little bit, get into some competition, start shooting some registered targets, right? I mean, come on, it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And until next week, Mr. Alley.
We can't wait to see y'all back here on the Dead Pair Podcast.
We'll see you next time on the Dead Pair Podcast.
The Dead Pair.
Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Elite Shotguns and Vero Beach Clay Shooting and is fueled by Fiocchi USA. The Dead Pair theme song was written, arranged, and produced by Toby Tomplay. Special thanks to the following sponsors: Rhino, Odo Pro, Dawn Grant, Atlas Trap Company, and RE Ranger.